Too hot in parts, too cold in others. Are we seeing signs of stagflation? Let's take a look on the weekly update. Okay, friends, let's talk stagflation. Here's what you need to know. First up, the economy is giving contradictory signs here. On the one hand, inflation is heating up, while on the other hand, economic activity is slowing down. So we're going to talk about stagflation since we just got employment data today, and it seems to support the stagflationary argument. But you may not know what I'm talking about here, so let's define these terms. We're going to look at inflation, deflation, and stagflation. I'm going to start with inflation. Inflation's the easy one. Inflation, or an inflationary economy, is like 2021. There's too much money chasing too few goods, the economy's too hot, there's lines everywhere at every store in the mall, it's difficult to get, an Airbnb for vacation, right? People are just spending money and the economy is running too hot. That tends to be inflationary, and the way that you fix it is raising interest rates, trying to cool off the economy. That one's pretty easy. The other type of economy you can have is a deflationary economy. This one is like 07, 08, right? Unemployment is high, productivity is low, asset prices in the stock market are coming down, no one really has money for anything. And the way that you fix this situation, right, there's too little money chasing too many goods, whether housing or otherwise, just like 07 or 08. And the way that you fix this situation is lower interest rates, stimulate demand, have stimulus programs, right? That's how you fix a deflationary economy. So too hot, too cold. So then what then is stagflation? Well, stagflation is a particularly toxic brew that we haven't seen too often. Really, I'm pointing to the US in the 70s here mostly. But what it is it's where inflation is high, yet economic growth is low. And these two things feel like they should be opposite, right? Because if inflation is high, that's too much money circulating around. But if growth is too low, then how can there be too much money to circulate around? Generally, stagflation only occurs through commodity shocks and bad economic policy, but we're starting to get some data that shows we might start getting a stagflationary economy here in the US. It's still early and we're nowhere close to it today as of right now, when I'm speaking to you. But if these trends continue, we might see some of it. And so that's what I'm talking about today. And really the thing that I'm looking at here, I'm going to assume you've already seen my video about this inflationary wave that we're having. It's not surprising prices really aren't coming down, and inflation for a lot of things, insurance premiums, housing, etc., still remains pretty stubborn here. So that's the inflationary part. That's the economy that's too hot. That's prices pretty much, which is not good. How about the economy too cold part? Well, that's primarily coming from the employment reports. We just got employment data today. Not only was the employment data previously marked down, but this one missed expectations as well. There are less job openings, less jobs taken in the most recent reporting period, and you can really see it on these squiggly lines here, which show you hiring intentions and also the services employment index. And basically, all of these lines sloping downward, what this tells you is no one has any intention of hiring, and more importantly, employment is declining in the service sector of our economy, which is the biggest, most important one. Recall, of course, that manufacturing has been declining for quite some time. And more interesting than that, Bloomberg Economics had this article today, which says that all those job gains that we've been talking about for the last year, where we were thinking that the economy was too hot, as many as 730,000 of them was probably overstated. So there's almost 1 million jobs that we thought that the economy had that it may not actually have. And so what this does, this takes a lot of strength out of the economy. We have the inflationary brew, but what we're seeing on the economy too cold side of things, it might be employment. It might be consumption, right? Remember, we saw in corporate earnings, corporations told us, hey, our consumer's pretty stressed. You generally don't have that if you've got a very strong, robust, hiring system inside your economy. And so unsurprisingly, because of all of these things, this is the Atlanta Fed GDP now. Basically, it's just like a GDP estimator for where we are in the second quarter. It went from as high as above 4% to now it's maybe like 1.75, 1.8%. And basically what this model does is it just prices in all the available data we have as of today right now. And so what this is telling us is Maybe around May, we thought the economy was doing a lot better than it is right now. And what we're seeing right now is the economy is a lot weaker than we were initially projecting. Weak economy plus stubborn or persistent inflation gives you those stagflationary trends. We're not there yet today, right now, but if things keep continuing this way, we will be there. So what does this all mean in terms of stagflation? Well, inflation data tells us that inflation is looking stubborn and persistent. Corporate earnings and employment surveys are telling us that the economy is weakening, at least the consumption side of it. It is still early days, but if these trends continue, we may end up with stagflationary conditions. And this is just sort of like the question for myself as I think about all these things. Remember, last time we talked about the market, I said sometimes people just want to buy stocks, and that's part of the reason why the stock market is going up. But I do wonder aloud, how long can the market ignore the economy? The market is not the economy is not the market, but they are linked together, and that linkage is corporate earnings. If we start to get stagflationary conditions developing, I imagine they're going to start showing up in corporate earnings. So there you go. We took a look at stagflation. I don't think we're there yet, but if things keep continuing this way, we might get there. I'll see you for the weekend review. Take care. Okay, friends, that was the video. Hope you liked it. If you found it informative, good, entertaining, I'd love if you could scroll down here beneath the video and give me a like there. It helps us out with the algorithm. And then if you want to be notified first of anything new that we upload to the channel, if you come over here, click subscribe, you'll be the first to know as soon as we upload anything. Appreciate it. See you soon.